Me again. I'm going to show you today how I sew seams when it comes to sewing knitting pieces together. Like when you've made a sweater or a cardigan or especially something for a baby, and you spent days, weeks, maybe months, or even sometimes years making it, and you're sewing it together along the side seams, happy as anything, and you get to the end and you realise that you've got this really bulky seam. And hard as you try, quite often you can't actually get that seam to get any smaller, and it can feel a bit weird, especially on a baby. So have a look down here. I'm going to sew these two pieces together for you, or at least do some of it, because it takes ages to sew them together, and I'm sure you don't want to watch all that. So we're going to start at one of these corner pieces, and what I tend to do first is tie on the end of my yarn. This bit doesn't start off very elegantly, but it gets better, I promise. So double knot, you're never going to see it. By the time you finish your sewing up and you weave in those ends, nobody will ever know that there was actually a knot there. So the yarn, when you've got different colours that you're matching up, because as you see here we're matching up alternate colours, always tend to go with the lighter shade, just so it hides a little bit easier, because you don't want to see some sort of running stitch or whatever going through your work. Not cool. So we've tied it on at the very corner point on this one, and then we're going to find the very corner point on the one opposite, and we're going to go just catch it through that. You're not going to go on top of it, and you're not going to go underneath it. Some people say when you're sewing them you should have wrong sides together and sew it. Some people say put right sides together and sew it. If you do that, you're going to get a ridge. Without a doubt, you will end up with a ridge. There is no way around it. So lay your pieces flat together, put your needle through actually the side of it. So if you lay it down, it's not the top, it's not underneath, it's through the side, through the depth of it, of your work. Going to go through there, and you're just going to bring the two pieces together. A little bit flimsy until you've got a few stitches on, but bear with. Then you're going to go back onto this side, and again you're going to hold it so you can see the side of your work, and you're going to go you don't even need to get behind stitches, just go through the stitches, through the yarn if you need to. It's never going to show, and it'll help to hide your stitch a lot better. So we're going to go through there, and as we pull it, we're going to just gently hold on the piece with your finger and give it a little tug. You don't want to pull too tight, because what's going to happen here is you're going to pucker it here, and your work will go nice straight line, big old hole, nice straight line. Not ideal, especially if you're going to put like a border on it or whatever. Right, then you're going to go onto the second piece again on the side. You're going to go through some stitches. Don't go through just the end loop, because that's going to just baggy it and you'll end up with some sort of holy seam. Just take up a few bits and bobs as you go. Draw it through, and again as you're about to pull it tight, put your finger on there and give the yarn a tug. You can actually pull really quite firm, and provided you're holding it firmly, it's not going to move, it's not going to pucker. I'll just show you a few more. First piece, turn it to the side, go through just a few. You're sort of going through 2 or 3 rows, I guess, each time. Hold it, pull, and then go on to the other side. And you're keeping your stitches level each time. You're not going to go, well, I'll take a piece here and then the next side I'm going to go down here somewhere. Keep them level as you go, next to each other. Finger on where the stitch went and pull. I'll just show you this now. If I turn it over onto the reverse, I know it's hard to see on camera, but that is, trust me, that's absolutely smooth. If I lay it down, I don't know if you can get a better angle. That's perfectly smooth. There is no seam, there is no bump there at all. And we'll turn back onto the front, and again, absolutely smooth. you're not going to get a seam if you hold it flat while you sew. So it can take a little bit longer to sew it this way, but trust me, it's worth it. When you do knitting, I think we can all vouch for the fact that knitting is slow. Even if you're super speedy at it, like my mum or like Rosie, it still takes quite a while to knit a garment. So take your time in sewing it up. What's the rush, you know? And then I'll just show you here where we get to, when we get to the colour change. Because again, you want to keep your pieces level. So you want to match up not just the rows, which you can see we've matched up nicely. You've got the ridges of the rows going across. But you want to be able to match up the colours as well. There's no point me sewing it up so that it all looks beautiful, but then, for instance, the colours don't match. The pink is opposite the blue, and the blue is opposite the pink. So we need to make them level and keep them level as we go. There we go. And you can actually sort of adjust them slightly as you go. So if you pull a bit too hard on one, just bring it back up again before you put your next stitch in. And then you're going to do that all the way to the end. When you get to the end point down here, you're just going to oversew just a little bit. And then once you've done a couple of oversew stitches, pass your yarn back through underneath the stitch, snip it off. And there you go, you're done.